Good afternoon. Welcome to Found with Love Memphis. I'm your host, LaShawn, with my co-host, Regina. And today we're here with Dr. Tiffanie Culpepper. She is the author of Changing Mindset, Empowering Women, and Diversifying Your Skills Like You Diversify Your Stocks. So today, what we want to do is kind of bring some excitement to the kingdom of God, bring some things in for the neighborhood that we as believers always want to strive for. How can we improve ourselves? How can we make the people next to us better? And I think that Dr. Tiffanie has some great books that I encourage each and every last one you go out and buy today. They're on Amazon. You can get them right now today. As we're taping this episode, you can get them today. So today, let's find out what made Dr. Tiffanie want to write these books. Let's find out who she is and how can she help make us better as believers. So with that, Dr. Tiffanie, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, why you wrote these books. Just give us a rundown of your background.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for having me on your podcast, Found with Love. I'm loving the title, first of all. My background it varies. I will go all the way back and I will start where it first began. Not to say too much, but I'm originally from Gary, Indiana. And at the time, as I was growing up in Gary, Indiana, it was a city that was just full of turmoil. And it's kind of like the city that we live in now, where there's a lot of crime. But I had love in the household. I had caring parents. I had family support. And one thing that led me to want to either author books or even to empower folks or even to just focus on eliminating negativity and living in positivity was where I came from. It was a rough background. However, it was a lot of love in my home. And that guided me along the path. And I was talking earlier to Regina about our transformational journey and how it led me to where I am today. I actually was a college dropout. Many people see yes, many people see the title of doctor. Oh, Dr. Tiffanie Culpepper. I have not always been Dr. Tiffanie Culpepper. I dropped out of college in 1994. I graduated, which I thought I graduated. I had my entire family at graduation, and I failed a class. So I did not graduate.
Did you know before that?
I had no idea. I knew afterwards because you get your grades afterwards.
Wow.
And I was so hurt and so embarrassed. And it was a lot of just, I was just defeated. And so I went through an array of emotions about being defeated, not being the best, and going down this path. And so I wrote books to kind of change in mindset and how to do that. It took me 2 years. I did not graduate until 1996 with my undergraduate degree because I was embarrassed. To go back to tell your family, which everyone was there from out of town, that I didn't graduate. So there were lessons there that I hope that I can kind of help someone along the way. There was hurt, there was frustration, there was shame. But at the time, I built up skills, believe it or not, even through that. And so I was talking about this transformational journey that I want individuals to go on. And a lot of times, that journey of life, some starts with love and some doesn't.
Wow.
That road, that transformational journey that we talk about, um, sometimes it's a bumpy road all the way through life. And I have a vision of this road with 2 or 3 or 4 yellow caution marks on the side of the road. And those are the warning signs that we get out of life. And we have to pay attention. Just pay attention.
So go ahead, Regina.
I'm just like, she said so much already. Dr. Tiffany, you talked about being at a graduation ceremony and it taking 2 years for you to finish. What was the turning point?
The turning point for me was that I had someone in my corner, basically my father, who said, "You've got to complete your degree. I see so much in you." And I think it takes an individual or someone else to see something in you
Yes.
that you didn't see yourself. Because
Yes.
at this time, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm a professional. I'm at work. I'm working. They thought I had graduated too, because you
Wow.
have to
Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah.
You know, I hadn't shown it yet, and so I'm in a leadership role at that time at like
Wow.
26, and I don't even have the degree. So my dad was like, you need to hurry up and go back and get that degree, for one, because I know that you can,
Yeah.
and don't let that stop you. And after I got the undergraduate degree, something told me, you got a lot more to say and you can do a lot more. So I
Yeah.
went and I got my master's in business administration. That was actually 10 years later, though.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's a huge gap, right?
So there's a lot of
There's
steps
a
in
lot of
there
steps
when you.
in the way, 96 to 2006. And I'm raising a family at this time. I'm a full-time mom, full-time wife. I'm working full-time. So I tell women in particular, keep pushing forward. That 10-year gap, one thing that I started, I want to share this with everyone as well, is to track that journey.
Mm.
Track that journey. From 1996, from the time that milestone or that shift happened in my life, I started charting, started journaling. And my first son was born in 1997. But from 1996 up until today, I journal everything.
Wow.
I just keep a day minder. So it's kind of like I can actually write my whole entire life out, telling you where my children were, what we did, what those experiences are. And not just that, it's the emotions, it's the skill, it's the lessons along the way from that 1996 to 2005 that I'm sharing or that I could share. If my children ask me today, Mom, what did I do on April 7, 2011? I can go back and pull that 2011 calendar
I
out,
think in
and I
our
can tell
culture,
them.
we think we're ahead of the game when we take pictures
Yeah.
Mm.
or we do videos, right?
Yeah.
So like, I got a keepsake, I can go back and
Yeah.
do this, but to
Yeah.
actually journal it down day by day,
Day by
you
day.
know exactly what happened because pictures and videos capture moments
Mhm.
Yes.
and they
Yes.
memorialize those
Yes.
particular moments. What happened between picture A and picture
And
B?
picture B.
Yes.
It could have been a 6 month
Mhm.
span
A
that went on.
6 month span.
But
Yes.
and while you was talking in the beginning, you said something. You said some homes have love and some homes don't have love. What do you think is the biggest difference between the ones with love
Hmm.
and without love?
It's a good
Ooh,
question.
that is an
Good question.
excellent question.
Mhm.
The difference between a home that has love and a home that does not have love is simple. There's an absence of Jesus Christ.
Mm.
God is love. And I'm not just saying that because we're found with love. That was it. We had God in our lives. And I think, no, I don't think, I know, if people would find God and know that that's their north compass,
Mhm.
if you will, if we're
Yes.
we're keeping it real, that's the compass of
Yes.
life. True north is
Mhm.
him. And I think my family, our foundation was on, we were Christian.
Mhm.
That was the foundation. We lived our lives with those principles, and everything that we built from there on. So that's the answer for me. It's just having God as the guide.
I think that statement hits the nail right on the head, as we say, right? Because
Yes,
when
yes,
found with
yes,
love, you're exactly right. God has to be our true north.
yes,
Mhm.
He has to be the one that's guiding everything.
yes,
And
indeed.
when we go back and listen to God, right? Some of us get to the point where we pray,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't wait for the answer. Right?
Correct. Mhm.
We'll pray and we get right up and we start moving.
Mm.
Sometimes you have to just sit there until you hear him
Yes.
or you feel him move. Okay, and it's time for you to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I love this. I love the way that how you, even though there was a time gap,
Yes.
because sometimes in life it don't go the way we plan.
No.
Mhm.
Sometimes we even think we may be out of place, out of order, but once it's accomplished, God had already earmarked it for that particular moment.
Yes.
So, well, yeah, it took you 10 years later,
10 years later,
but you still got it.
I got
But
it.
nothing stopped.
Mhm.
Not having your children, not your job outside.
Yep.
I think sometimes we allow life to stop us
Yes. We do.
without knowing that no, you should be still working.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to go full time. You can take a class here, a class there,
That's it.
and continue to go on that journey. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I tell everyone, especially our students, because I love to speak to the younger individuals as well. When we talk about that journey, no matter how long it takes, let's look at, for example, if we're keeping it simple, a 4-year degree. Okay, I have to get my undergraduate degree. Well, it took me longer than that, but let's just staying on track. Just say 4 years. You can't get from day one to first class to graduation,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So it's one class at a time.
One class.
And that's how I look at life, as a milestone,
Mhm.
one step at a time. And to your point, it may not be designed the way we have it in mind, but as long as we have a plan and keep a plan of action in place, we can get there. I had to have encouragement along the way. There were plenty of mentors, there were plenty of coaches, there were plenty of confidence and people that I trusted, that I put in my life and interacted with, which helped me. And as I accomplished each milestone and met each milestone, I built my confidence. So as I say, I'm sorry, Miss Virginia, I have to
No,
got to
that
say
was
this.
good.
As
That's
I
good.
say, one milestone at a time, one milestone at a time. That's the key. And I want to emphasize that, because people get so I guess nervous because they're looking at this big picture,
Picture.
but you can't get from point A to point Z without doing B through Y.
Absolutely.
So you had a question. Once you
No,
get
I'm
through, I got a question. So go right ahead.
I'm sure that along the way, one of the things that you shared in the book is the question, "What do we do when we get derailed?" Right?
Yes, yes,
You're speaking to that right now when you say one mountain at a
yes.
time,
One
right? One
milestone at a time.
milestone
Yes, yes,
at a time.
yes.
What helped you
Mhm,
when you got to a place where it didn't look like you thought it should look, or
mhm,
things didn't materialize in the way that you thought they should, in the timing
mhm.
that you thought they should? How did you handle that? And what could you tell our audience when they are faced with difficulties,
Ah,
how to assess the situation and be able to overcome it and move forward?
oh, great question. Great question. So I go back to charting the plan. Okay, without a plan in place, I think we just spin our wheels.
Mhm.
That's what I was doing for those 10 years I talked about. Procrastinating. I had no plan to
Mm.
go back to school. I had no plan to do this. I had no plan. So even in my life now, if I don't have a plan or some structure, I'm just spinning my wheels.
Mhm.
And I think, no, I keep saying I think. No, I know for a
Yes.
fact that having a plan is going to at least put the steps or a guide in front of you.
Mhm.
Keep the true north compass in mind. It was a lot of prayer. I will never
Yes.
leave out prayer. I never take action until I pray first. And to
Yes.
your point, Pastor, I listen
Mhm.
for the response, no matter how long it takes me to receive it.
Yes.
I don't start a new venture without prayer, so
Yes.
that God can kind of show me the vision that He has for my life and the purpose of what He wants me to do and who He wants me to reach. And
Yes.
so I mentor a lot of women, even men, in certain circumstances, but mostly women and young adults. Many of my on my career path, I would coach, mentor, and train early career individuals on how to be professional, how to make it through life, what it takes, just that the coaching, if you will. Not so
Mhm.
mentoring, but I'm taking a deeper dive. We're gonna put some structure
Mhm.
behind this, a little coaching there. And I
So
found,
before you go any
yes,
further,
sir. Hmm.
you just mention two things, two
Okay.
key words to me stuck out. You say mentoring and coaching.
Yes.
What's the difference?
Ah, great question. So mentoring is me as an individual sharing my experiences with you. What I know, I'm listening to you, but I'm sharing experiences, okay, more on a personal level. I'm listening to where you are in life. When I coach an individual, I'm putting formal structures in place. Not just the structure, we have that plan in place specifically tailored to what it is that you want to get to in life. So I have an entire coaching program set up to do exactly that for individuals. Many may be changing their careers, and they need a coach for that. Many times, I mentioned that I was a failed college student, but I'm also a divorcee. I'm sad to say, but life happens.
Yes.
I was married for 23 years. So imagine the emotions that I experienced with that. So I have the experience where I can even talk to women on those emotions, raising children and still going through a divorce or losing, my what I thought was my life partner along the way. And it's just been ups and downs. There's going to be hills and valleys. It's going to be, but I have to look at things differently, as we say.
Yes.
I have to
Yes.
change my mindset. That's one reason why I wrote this book, because I could not live in negativity.
Yes.
And going through so many different avenues in life and so many valleys, I had to change the way that I thought and saw things. And so, to answer your question, a coach is someone that can help bring structure to what you're wanting to do and specifically lead you and guide you through those milestone steps so that you can strategically get to the vision that you want to see and the milestone or the goal that you want to ultimately reach in your life.
I like the word strategic you just mentioned.
Ah, yeah.
If you're not strategic, if you're not planning, anything can happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like to say about coaching, when you even mention coaching, the first thing I thought about a professional team.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
know, a coach is there to get you to run the play until you get it right.
From the play.
Yes.
I
Until
love that.
you get
I love
across
that.
the goal line or you get the ball inside the hoop.
Yes.
That's it.
They're not there to just, okay, when I was your age, I did this or I
Right.
did this. No, they're going to make sure you get it right.
You're going to,
And so
absolutely.
I like that you differentiate. There's a difference between being a mentor
Mm-hmm.
to kind of help bring you along, look at some of the things that you're doing. But coach, let me analyze what you're doing right
Yes.
and what you're doing wrong. Let's fix it
Let's
Yes.
fix it.
because they can be a stumbling block for you if they're not fixed.
Yes.
So I like that.
Yeah. Without the coaches and the mentors, what sometimes we'll do is measure ourselves by ourselves.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Measure ourselves by ourselves.
Or, Regina, we measure ourselves and compare ourselves to others.
Yes.
We compare ourselves to others, and I tell even my children, they're all successful in their own right, and I say in their own right because success is the way how we define success for ourselves.
Yes.
And it's okay, and I think we chatted about this a little bit earlier. It's okay to model someone. It's okay to even, as they say, I'm gonna give you the roadmap. This is how they did it.
Yes.
No
Yes.
one has the experience that you have, and that I have. No one, not even a twin. You're not seeing things the same way. You're not experiencing life the same way. You're not having the same thoughts
Yes.
that pop in your mind.
That's good.
Yeah, you're not. And so, yeah.
That's good. I think about myself, and again, we did talk about this earlier. But as we're going through life, life is happening for us, and as you said, it's good to have a role model. It's good to be encouraged by someone else. It's even okay to model things after someone else. Or you think about the scripture and understanding, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That
Amen.
God created me.
Yes.
That I am unique. I have my own journey. This way, I don't get caught up into, hey, Dr. Tiffany does it this way. And then when my season doesn't mirror up to Dr. Tiffany's season, then I begin to get down on myself. But just understanding that God has a plan for me. I have a roadmap strategically written out and designed for Regina.
Yes.
And when I stay true to Regina
Yes.
and my assignment. I don't have to
Absolutely.
compare myself to LaShawn's assignment.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think, a lot of times we take a role model instead of using them as a point of reference. We try to walk in their shoes. We
That's
try to do
good.
everything
Yes.
exactly the way they did it.
Mhm.
You see these
Yes.
people write these books. I'm gonna give you the formula how to do this. Now that's the way again. That's the way you did it.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
If that worked for everybody, everybody would be millionaires today. It's not gonna work for everyone.
That's right.
Yes.
So going back to what you said, God didn't make us. He has a specific plan for
For
us.
us. That's
And if
right.
we just follow that plan,
Follow that plan.
Mm-hmm.
we end up where He wants
What
us to
he
be.
wants us to
Not
be.
necessarily
Yeah.
where we thought we was going to be at, because He has things earmarked specifically for you.
Yes.
You may think you want to be in North Memphis. No, I want you in South Memphis.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What are you doing over there? Like he asked Elijah, what are you doing
What are
here?
you doing here?
You're in the wrong
That's
place.
good. That's good.
Get back on the path I set you on.
Yes.
And sometimes we just got to stop and ask God, am I doing the right
The right thing.
Yes.
at the
That's
right
good.
time?
At the right time.
Because you got both got to be right. Got to be the right thing you're doing. Got to be
At
at the
the
right
The
right
right
time.
time.
Timing
So
is
God is
everything.
going to want you to do that.
Yeah.
So before we go any further, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to show
Tell
Dr.
what
Tiffany's
you're
Dr. Tiffany's commercial that you gave me.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to take that and we'll be right back in 30 seconds.
doing.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All right, welcome back to Find with Love. We're here still with Dr. Tiffany, and we're just going to continue this conversation because I think we are really learning a lot today about our mindset, how sometimes we can get trapped in our mindset. We got to learn an effective way to change that mindset too. So as we continue to go forward, Dr. Tiffany is going to share with us some ways how we can first identify what mindset we're in
Mm-hmm.
and what we can do to change it if we're in the wrong space, because we don't want to be in the wrong space thinking the wrong thing and thinking we are doing it right. We want to make sure we're operating in the right mindset, that we're always positive, we can always be found with love. So, Regina, I know you just getting ready to ask a question before we broke.
Yes, Dr. Tiffany, you talk so much about empowering people,
Yes.
excuse me, specifically women and the mindset. Why is empowerment so important?
Oh, that's a good one. First, I want to say this. I want to talk to the audience real quickly. I wrote this book, and one person in my class, it was a student, a male student, walked up to me and he crossed out the word women, and he said, "Dr. T, this book is applicable to men too." So I want you to know, anything we're talking about when we talk about mindset, it is a practical application that men and women can address. But I focus so much on women and empowering women and the need for it because as women, we deal with something, and this may be a new term for some, but we deal with something called an imposter syndrome. Okay.
Understood.
That imposter syndrome is you have all the skills that you need to do your task. However, you're still feeling like I'm not enough. I don't know enough. They're going to figure me out. What if you're still doubting yourself.
Yes.
And all leaders that experience the imposter syndrome, about 70% of leaders still today experience the imposter syndrome. When we talk about women, 70 to 80% of us experience the imposter
That's an
syndrome.
alarming
I got my
number.
church finger up.
Yeah, that's an
70
alarming
to
number.
80%
So you said they're still experiencing it today.
today as leaders.
So, first part, do they not understand what the imposter syndrome is? And second part, is there a way they can get out of it?
There is a way. There is a way. So to identify it, I actually do an assessment on so individuals can know where they are to determine if you are experiencing the imposter syndrome. Okay, there's like 10 things to help you identify whether or not you're experiencing the imposter syndrome. And I said a couple of them. You have the skills, and then you may think, oh, I'm not qualified enough, or somebody's going to find me out. So I have them kind of do an assessment and kind of check off about 10 boxes. And 0 to 2, kind of like you're not experiencing imposter syndrome. Maybe some self doubt or a little fear. Anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6, yeah, you experiencing imposter syndrome. And 7 to 10, you need to come see me.
Yeah.
But seriously though, but the mindset and the reason why I like to empower women, especially women of color, because as we said, 70% of leaders, 70 to 80% of women, but for Black women, more than 80 to 85%.
And I think that's a lot of because of not feeling good enough.
Yes, yes. We do not have, for us, there's like a 27% gap when it comes to men and women. And so that's why I talk a lot to the women, because for women, we don't have a few things. Okay, we don't have the visibility in our careers.
Yes.
We don't have sponsorship. We talked about mentors, but we don't have sponsorship. Having a sponsor is someone that's going to talk on your behalf when you're not in that room.
Yes.
They're going to advocate for you. Many of us, especially women of color, Black women, we do not have sponsors. And then overall, we're dealing with biases, just systemic biases overall. And so my purpose, and this is what I prayed for many years, because even as a young girl, before I even went into college, I majored in finance. And first I started off in psychology, ended up majoring in finance, and then overall majored in business and minored in finance. Even with that, I said, I want to be a doctor. I didn't know exactly what type of doctor. So I asked God, I said, what's my purpose in life? I went through life, probably those 10 years, not knowing who I was, what to do, just trying to figure myself out. And God said, your purpose is to empower women, is to give back.
Yes.
Yes.
Give back. And so to answer your question, I focus on empowerment because I think that, especially as women, men too, I'm not leaving you all out. But you guys are strong, and you don't really tell us much, and some men, not all.
Some of us may be still trapped in imposter syndrome.
Yes, exactly. And we don't want to. And a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of times, it's not the skills. It's not the lack of skills. It's great to have diversification of skills, but it's not the lack of skills, because many of us are in upper leadership roles. We're leading other individuals and teams and corporations and entire programs and running the entire organization. But we still have some form of the imposter syndrome. And I did the quick exercise on how to actually get through that. I call myself a transformational speaker, transformational leader. I say I'm not motivational. Some people say I am. But the purpose of transformation for me, a transformational leader, is someone that can actually help you change, help you to start the path and go from one place in your life to another, thus the transformation.
You know what I think about? In order to accomplish that, there's one word that's just like this: positivity.
Positivity. There's so many thoughts that come in our mind. Just coming into the building, oh, it's hot out here.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, somebody parked crooked. It's constantly. I was probably one of them. But it's constant negative thoughts. And so in my book, I do practical applications and practical steps on how to change the mindset. And I was talking to women one time. I was at a women's conference, and I said, I'm going to give you practical steps, 3, 2, 1 step. Okay, hey, ready? I said, y'all ready? I kept saying, Lord, when I wrote this, I said, is this what you want me to tell the people? And it was like 3, want to make a change. 2, make a change. And then 1, live in positivity, have positive thoughts. And I said, Lord,
As simple and profound as that.
it's that simple.
Yeah, it gives you ability to focus.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
See,
Keep it
sometimes
simple.
we try to expand or blow up things. You know,
Yes.
blow it out, blow it out, blow it out, blow it out, because we want to see everything.
Yeah.
But when you can break it back down to the simplest form,
Yes.
you can commit to that simple form.
You can commit to
You
the
can
simple
focus
form.
on it and keep it in your purview at all times.
Yes.
And I like that.
Hear the scripture coming to me, coming to mind. As a man thinketh, so is he. And our life is patterned after just that, our thoughts. So I
Mhm.
think that's why the Bible tells us is to lose our natural mind and to gain the mind of Christ.
Mhm.
Because if you don't think you can accomplish, guess what?
Mm,
You won't accomplish.
That's right. That's the
It's just like we
strategic
say about
vision.
praying. When you pray, you believe you have it.
Yes.
So if you don't believe you have it, you will never
You
get
would
it.
never
would never get-
manifest
You,
it.
you,
That's
you're
right.
sitting
Oh,
there,
I
you're
love that
praying
word.
day after day,
Yes,
and you're
yes.
wondering, God, why don't I have it? Because you don't believe.
You don't believe it.
And
And
you
that's
don't
just
believe
not a tagline, believe.
Yes.
And I love the word you just said, manifest it. And I even, as simple as having my entire, what is that you do each year? People
Vision
create a
board?
vision
Vision
board.
board?
I believe in vision boards. And I have a vision board on my phone right now with everything that I plan on accomplishing. I think I can reach them in 2025. I have seen so many of them already come to fruition.
Wow.
And right across the vision, because we picking up our phones every day,
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
more so than our Bibles, right? We're going to keep it real. We're picking up the phones. And so right there on the phone, on my main page, is my vision board. I have the books that I want to write. I got one more in my mind that I want to write about. I won't tell you right now because you're going to have to call me back. You have to call me back for that one. Yeah. But
You have an open
you have
invitation.
thank you, Pastor. But my point is see it so that it can manifest. And across the front of that vision board on my phone, I have the words manifest in Jesus' name.
That's
I
wonderful.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that. And as you were saying, I remember, I don't know where I got this slogan from, but it's see, believe, achieve.
Yes.
If you see it,
Yep.
you can believe it.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe it, you
You
can achieve it. Right?
Yes.
So I don't want nobody to get me for copyright. I don't know where I got it
Yes,
from, but
yes.
that's what came to my mind.
Yes, you
just
can
then.
paraphrase it. Hey,
If you see it, you
mm-hmm.
can believe it.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe it, you can achieve it.
Yes.
And that vision board just kind of keeps things again focused.
Keep the focus.
Keep the important things.
It's that journey. It's that strategic vision. It's seeing it and seeing yourself believing that you can accomplish it.
Talk about influencers.
Ooh, influencers. I believe that influencers in one's life is a gift.
Okay, before you go any further, what do you consider an influencer? So I want to make sure all of us are on the same page, on the same mindset.
Influencer is someone who thinks positive, who acts positive, not just saying words, but you can actually see him or her doing it.
Yes.
And put whatever action that they're putting behind their words, you can actually see the manifestation of whatever he or she is doing.
Yes.
So when I think of influencers, and I'm not just talking about people that's posting and making millions on YouTube, that's good. You know, that's good to monetize. But the influencers that I'm talking about are those people that you need to have in your life: a pastor, a confidant, a best friend, a spouse, a child. I think overall, I have 3 beautiful children, and each of them tell me each day they reminded of, oh my goodness, Mama, you influenced me. I remember when you talk about this and you talk about that. And now I have one, and I'm telling you, I already told you he was born in 97, so he's 28. 28. And I have one that's 22. And then I have one, we've started all over, she's 13. Okay, so I had them across every age group at one point in time. The oldest one tells me even today, Mom, when I go to work, and he's so personable, so easy to talk to, and such a professional. He's in communication and he talks and very, very, in my opinion, very professional, articulate, handsome young man.
So did he take it out to his
Handsome
mom?
young man.
He took all that out to his mama. No, I can't take it out. But no. He tells me that he remembered the lessons because I believe as an influencer, no, don't just as they say. Some people say, do as I say, not as I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big on showing.
Yes.
I'm big on
Modeling the way.
demonstrating and modeling the way because I have to say, when my children tell me, Mom, you taught me that. I feel so good.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm still working on the baby girl. You know, she's a mini me. Ooh, so she has her own mind, and you know, it's just that teenage years.
Yes.
But I think as I keep saying, I think, and I'm working on that. You see, I still have things to work on as well as a professional.
All of us.
But
Yeah.
I always
Right.
catch it
Yeah.
because now I'm conscious of how my mind is working.
Mhm.
Don't say you think
Yes.
when you know what you know what you know.
Yes.
There we go.
Say it with authority
And don't apologize.
and don't
for it.
apologize for it.
Boldly.
Boldly.
Because the thing you talk about when we think about influencers, we all are influenced in one way
Or
or
the
another,
other.
regardless of the environment that we are in. So it
Yes.
can be a good influence or it could be a negative influence.
That
And
too.
what we have to do every day that we get up is make a decision. When I get up in the morning, there are certain declarations that I have to make to take charge of my day
Yes.
because life is going to happen.
It's going to
Things
happen.
things are going to happen on the way to work, when you get to work, and on the way home from
Absolutely.
work, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And that could have some negative effects
Yes.
on you.
Mhm.
And you have to do what we say in the church: shake it off.
Shake it off.
No.
Shake it off. Keep pushing
Shake it
forward.
off
Yes.
because be mindful of what is influencing you. When we think about social media,
Yeah.
people are making millions of dollars for influencing others, whether it's to buy particular products or listen to particular music,
Yes.
if you will.
Mhm.
And they're making all of this money. And some of those things, a lot of those things actually are not good influences.
Right.
So you have to make sure that you have the correct mentors,
Yes.
that you have the correct sponsors, that you have the correct coaches in your life, because
Yes.
all of that matter.
It matters. It matters. And guard your what you see, what you hear.
Mhm.
You know, I certainly my child, I don't know, the younger one, yes, the teenager, she is into these scary movies. And I said, why do you want to watch that? We don't watch that. And if I'm aware of it, I don't want this in my house
Mhm.
because there's certain things I believe you just can't see and listen to and talk to everybody and do everything. And I know, you know, influenced by others and, oh, but such and such, my friends are going to see it. I'm sorry, you cannot.
Yeah.
And I have to be the bad parent, but we know how important it
But
is.
some of those, like, so we got to guard our ear gates, our eye gates.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Some of
Pastor.
those things
Yes.
to say sometimes. Because sometimes we can let things enter our mindset
Yes.
or our spirits that we didn't know was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So by opening the door sometimes that you don't want to open, we got to learn how to cut those switches off.
Cut them off.
Close
Cut
that
'em off.
door.
Close
Just
Yes.
lock it.
Yes.
You know, matter of fact, just break it up. Don't let the door open anymore.
That's right. That's
So
right.
we got to make sure we do that. And I think when you start with your children at a young age, to
Mhm.
make sure they understand that, hey, we just can't listen to everything.
Mm-hmm.
We just can't go everywhere because my friend is going. We just can't go and watch everything because
Yes.
someone else is watching it. You know, something may not affect Regina, but it could affect me
It can
Absolutely.
affect, right.
a whole lot.
Yes.
Tremendously. It could turn me around. It could send me into a spiral, downward spiral
Yes.
that I wasn't planning on, nor did I see coming, but because I was a part of it.
Yeah.
Because I watched it, or I
Absolutely.
heard it, I attended it,
Mm-hmm.
it threw me off, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
you've mentioned three things. You mentioned a coach,
Mm-hmm.
a mentor,
Mm-hmm.
now an influencer, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I know
Sponsor. Yeah.
what I hear all the time is when I'm at work in the staffing industry, people always talk about the number of people they have on their YouTube channel or they have on their
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, their followers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the difference, right? What do you
Mhm.
define as the difference between a follower
Mhm.
versus a coach or mentor or influencer
Mhm.
or a sponsor? What
Mm.
do followers mean
Oh, wow.
compared to the other ones?
Oh wow. Follower, they are the ones who are influenced.
Yes.
So they're
Without
influencees.
yes,
Okay.
without having a guide, a positive guide.
Yes.
And that's why I like to focus on leaders so that we can develop, especially starting young or somebody going new into a career or new into a different journey or path in life. Because you got to be able to, as a leader, you can't lead without having followers, right? You
Mhm.
can't lead without somebody to guide
Correct.
or to elevate, to empower. And someone that's and it's okay. Sometimes it's okay to follow that. I don't want to get. I don't want to get away. But sometimes, depending on where I am, I have to be the follower. So it's not always bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think as a person that influences, a sponsor, a coach, a mentor, I think we should do more listening than talking.
Yes.
A lot of times, early in my career, I would say, I was starting management like 26 years. 26. I was 26 years old, and I used to try to solve every problem. People would bring it into. I was actually managing Memphis Professional Building. It was about a quarter of a million square feet of commercial property, and I managed Memphis Professional Building with nothing but doctors and high. Yeah. And someone would bring something to my office, and I immediately go into troubleshoot mode. We gonna solve this problem. I'm gonna fix. I didn't even know what I didn't even know what the problem was. And so I learned sometimes you can take action as a leader and do, but sometimes you have to listen and delegate and empower others to do.
Yes.
So it's okay to follow in a positive way if you know that you are there to learn something new or different,
Yes.
or just get a complete understanding of something.
Sometimes we like to follow because we're lazy
Some
and we're not willing to take the lead.
take the ooh, that's a
Because you
good
have so
one.
many people that are classified as followers that
Hmm.
should be leading.
Should be leading, yes, and that's a need for additional development
Mhm.
because at that time I don't think they have the confidence to do the
Mhm.
task. They may be experiencing that imposter syndrome,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And so I think sometimes people kind of step back. And I have been, after I kind of learned and listened and kind of, I guess, dove down a little deeper into a career and what I wanted to do, I learned that I needed to have like foundation of something. So I would say what is it? I would focus on uh, strategic agility. I would focus on relational agility because I want to make sure I can build that foundation
Mhm.
so that I can help others. But I needed to figure out what that looked like for me. And when I did, I would come across a lot of times to the audience, the people that I led as, oh, she's just overly confident. And it came across as arrogance. And I used to check myself and I'm like, me? You haven't gotten to know me. How am I coming across arrogance? And I used to say, I can walk in a room when we're leading something and they know that you're the leader. You're because you're confident. But a lot of people see that as arrogance. So I don't want women to kind of, as they say, dim your light
Yes.
because
Yes.
someone think that you're arrogant without even knowing you or talking to you. And so I think that confidence is what is needed,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and I think the skills
Mm-hmm.
that we help others to develop along the way is going to help others to not be so much that lazy follower, but more so of that take charge. One of the leadership principles that I focus on is initiative.
Yeah.
Key leadership principle, initiative. And as leaders, and if you want to make a move in your life, is to do something, for one, without being asked, to do something and take action, no matter if you have all the answers to the questions. Take action, take initiative. That is a key leadership principle. And one word that I have shared, and it is a tagline on just about everything I do in many of my programs, is effectuate with Dr. T. They say, effectuate? What's effectuate? One of my audience members out here, she knows, she participated in one of the programs. So it's effectuate with Dr. T. It's like, what do you mean by effectuate? Effectuate is putting things in that motion and making things happen. Just moving. I'm like taking you again from that transformational journey from right here to there. And every program I have, I built on foundational, strategic agility, personal agility, definitely character. But before we did anything, we came in, we had prayer music. We didn't do a prayer with the group because sometimes it's a mixed group. I don't want to offend anyone, but you profess it boldly. Absolutely.
It's time to pray.
It's time to pray.
You go ahead and lay it out on me.
Yes.
I ain't saying you got to close your eyes like
I close mine, but we're going to pray in here today.
We're going to pray today.
So, yes.
So you're going to learn today.
Yes, yes. So, initiative, I think that would help. Good. I love that question.
You did mention one word, confidence. Confidence. If a person is lacking in confidence or sometimes just get scared about being out front, being in the leadership role, how can they change that mindset?
I think taking baby steps. And I'll give one example because I did this just recently. I had a young lady who was reporting to me, and she started out in an executive assistant role. Okay, very talented, could organize things, and very, very talented. But she always wanted to kind of stand in the back line, and she didn't have the confidence. But as I talked to her and I observed her, I realized she's got a lot to offer. But she was, I don't want to be in the front of the, I don't want to, I don't, she wasn't confident. I said, she had a great speaking voice, she has a very soft voice, but I said, she can do this. So I put her in charge of my peer mentor program.
Oh, wow.
And I said, and I'm going to be your coach. I'm going to be your mentor along the way, and I'm going to help guide you. I gave her the tools that she needed, outline, and I said, you make this yours. And I think I know for a fact. see how I'm changing my mindset in real time here. I'm loving it. And so I know that, to answer your question, that helps. That helps in individuals. And I used her as an example because she was able to take on the peer mentor role. Of course, there were a lot of questions, and I didn't mind. We met weekly, and what about this? What about this, Tiffany? What about this? And we would talk it through. But just for her to see it through, be able to partner the mentors and the mentees with each other, and we actually built the program on like one key thing, because we noticed that every other program that they did in the organization was falling apart. But ours sustained for years because we figured out what the issue was and how to structure it. And she actually took the program and it grew. We had people rushing to us, can I be a peer mentor? Can I be a peer mentor? And her confidence built up over time. And I mentioned that I was in corporate. I may not have mentioned, but I was in corporate for like 23 years. And we went through a reorganization. And this is one reason why diversification of skills is so important. We went through a reorganization, and some of the high levels, people that were at the top, and we got reorged, and my entire department, including moi, after 23 years, was let go.
Wow.
And I said, if it wasn't for diversified skills, if it wasn't for being able to have those transferable skills to go this, or if I didn't have a vision to say what my next step was already, I probably would have fallen apart. Yeah. And sadly, many people did have nervous breakdowns. Sadly, some people committed suicide in the organization. It was just so much. It was so much. And I say that to say the confidence that the young lady learned because she was just do it. And it started out first, not just that, I saw even when we would have like a training session, I would let her open up. Just do the icebreaker. Just ask a couple questions. So she got comfortable just asking questions. And before you know it, just like she was taking over my introduction part of the. I said, well, go ahead then. I love it. Because I wouldn't be a leader if I couldn't say, if I had to do everything, I'm not developing people. But if I could say, team, this is how we're going to structure things, this is how things are going to be, and then for I fall out, someone can still pick up.
So, Dr. T, that you said so much. Would you say that one of those keys to being empowered and
Mhm.
going to the next level is being willing to be uncomfortable, being
Mm.
comfortable?
Yes, look at you. I love it.
Really?
Yes, being willing to be uncomfortable,
Willing to be uncomfortable.
absolutely necessary. And that's why we have to continue to push ourselves. And when we see something in others, and I am one that will tell anybody, everybody, I will compliment you all day if I know that you are, even if you don't even. I'm gonna tell you because we need that. We need that
We
reassurance.
talked about
We talked
that.
a little bit about that, right? And depending on their language of how they receive, I may need somebody to affirm me that day, and because we're going through so much.
You said a lot in that part. What I took away from that is my mind works a little different. I remember you always
Excuse
tell me that I was a micromanager,
me. Excuse me.
or because I pushed them to leave their comfort zone, they didn't like the push. They wanted to stay behind the scenes, operate behind us, and we've been working. And what I found out, there was a difference for being a manager or a boss and being a leader.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you talked a lot about being a leader, right? But you also talked about coaching. So I know that you was talking about coaching at your passion. Are you still doing coaching today? Are you coaching one-on-one? What does a day in your life look like?
When I stop choking.
You tell this is live TV because we didn't go to commercial break. We didn't do nothing, right? She'll be together in 1 second. We're going to give her 5 more seconds, right? Because she's a professional. She's a coach. She's a mentor.
Through.
Yeah, there she goes. There she goes.
Here we go. We coming back.
Yes.
You got so good up here. So you asked me about coaching. Excuse me. It depends. I do coaching one-on-one, and I do group coaching. One-on-one coaching may be Regina has a specific, I wouldn't say issue or problem, but she has.
Okay.
Regina has a specific problem that and a goal that she wants to reach, and it may be specific to Regina, and so I have to tailor her strategic path or tools for what she's need to get her to her ultimate goal. Group coaching, it may be a common goal for a team. I did group coaching for a team that needed conflict management. And so we did that as a group because everyone needed to hear it. Everyone needed conflict. I had to kind of tell the difference between when I would use coaching and then when I would mediate. This particular team was at the point of coaching. And so we were able to kind of do it collectively. I got where I had to pull out a little bit because I saw some things in one of the sessions and I had to mediate. So coaching, I can kind of coach separately. Mediation is a big problem, big issue. And so I'm gonna have to bring us all together. And we got to get through this. But only way we're gonna get through this is if you hear one common goal solution and some activities or some tasks that we're gonna do so that we can make sure we're hearing the same message. So I like to do that group coaching. And for me, it's a lot easier to do a group coaching session because it's just less, I guess, demand on me as a coach. And that's just me preferably, but again, it depends on what the need is for the individual, the
I can see that
audience.
because I know if you got 15 people,
Excuse
you
me.
want to coach individual. That's a lot of plans because you're developing a specific plan for each
Each
particular person.
person. Mm-hmm.
Then when you got
Yeah.
a group, it's a group goal, a group task.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
therefore, you have one plan and you're getting everybody on board to agree to work this certain plan or the
Yes.
same plan. So it's getting good. But let's
Okay.
take a quick break. And before you leave, why don't you go to Found with Love on YouTube,
Yes.
like and
And
subscribe.
subscribe.
That way you get updates every time we release something, you get it. We'll be right
Yes.
back after these few seconds. And thank you for watching Found with Love Memphis and our conversation with Dr. Tiffanie Culpepper, Part 1. Dr. Tiffanie is a brilliant author, an excellent coach, trainer, mentor, and most important, a developer of people. Today, she helped us identify the types of mindsets that can free us or trap us. But this was only part one. I pray that you come back next week as we continue to look at mindsets, but also look at how we can diversify the skills inside of us to make you the best you can possibly be. But before you leave, I ask that you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share this video with people who may need to see it. Until next week, be blessed and be found with love.